Live from WTVO Rockford and your home team. Eyewitness News at 5 starts now.
Rockford's crime report from last year's made public. The city's chief of police says more cases could be solved if known witnesses would come forward with crucial details.
The last few years have been a whirlwind for Illinois landlords. More changes could be on the horizon for property owners when it comes to who is eligible to move in.
We were confronted with a new rule that was utterly unenforceable.
Illinois lawmakers block Governor Pritzker's mask mandate in school classrooms. Even members of the governor's own party agree students should have a choice when it comes to covering their faces. Good evening, I'm Mimi Murphy.
And I'm Eric Wilson. The Rockford Police Department shares crime statistics for the last year. Once again, violence is up in the Forest City.
Alexis Carpello was there as the chief broke down the numbers. She joins us live outside of District 3. Alexis, what did you learn?
Yeah, Eric and Mimi, 2021 was a bit of a roller coaster across the board in crime. Like Eric mentioned, violent crime went up by 6%. Aggravated assaults and auto thefts were also up. There were less homicides in 2021 compared to 2020. Officials tell us over the past year, people hit by bullets have gone down, and they've been able to recover more guns off the street. Police Chief Carla Red stays stern in her message: if you see something, say something.
It was not a good year for individuals to come forward. It never ceased to amaze me when you respond to a scene and there's 20 people out there and nobody saw anything. You know, there's that old adage, stop snitching or don't snitch and things of that nature. It's not the case, because if it was your loved one, you'd want somebody to come forward with some information.
Coming up at 6, I'll explain the initiatives that the city is taking to stop this crime at its roots. But for now, reporting live in Rockford for your home team, I'm Alexis Carpello.
Alexis, thanks for the live report.
A proposed bill in Springfield has local property owners fired up. It mandates Illinois landlords participate in the Section 8 program by amending the state's Homelessness Prevention Act.
The plan would create additional legal defenses for renters. Rachel Perry spoke with a local landlord and one of the bill's co-sponsors. Rachel, that owner believes the government is overreaching with this.
Yeah, that's right, Mimi and Eric. House Bill 2775 would protect renters from discrimination based on income, meaning landlords would have to participate in Section 8, which is currently optional. One landlord tells me he doesn't want to be forced into it.
Our rights as rental property owners have been trampled on through this entire pandemic.
Timothy Jensen owns several rental properties across the state line. He believes House Bill 2775 is a violation of landlords' rights.
As of now, people can say no Section 8, which is the subsidized housing, and that's okay. This is now saying you must accept Section 8.
Section 8 is rental assistance for low-income individuals. The proposed bill would require all landlords to take Section 8 renters because it would make it illegal to discriminate against people's income status.
And I do have Section 8, and I got to tell you, my Section 8 residents are wonderful. The program, terrible.
State Representative Maurice West is a co-sponsor. He thinks this could help people who need emergency housing, those on Social Security, and people who are disabled.
I decided to sponsor this after an extensive meeting with the disability advocates that represent the disability community. They mentioned to me that this is something that would help with the housing issues that they are seeing.
But it's caused backlash from local landlords.
I understand your concern. However, me taking my name off now is telling the disability community that I rather have them on the menu than at the table.
Jensen says there needs to be a time limit on how long someone can be on Section 8.
You help them for a limited time, and then you let them help themselves. And that's what I don't like. You're selling the people, you're selling these residents short, like they're not capable of figuring it out. Yes, they are.
The bill passed the House last fall and is currently pending in the Illinois Senate. But Representative West says right now it isn't set to move. Mimi?
All right, thanks, Rachel. A political blow for Governor J.B. Pritzker as some Democrats in Springfield vote to block his powers to extend a school mask mandate. That was the decision today by the Joint Committee on Administrative Rules. The bipartisan panel objected to an emergency rule filed by the state health department that was filed on Monday. It would have required schools to enforce masks while an appellate court rules on the governor's executive order. Earlier this month, a central Illinois judge ruled against Pritzker. Since then, many school districts have dropped masks requirement.
Now that the emergency rule has been suspended, that can't be used as a way to direct school districts as far as how to handle masks.
The Pritzker administration's pushing back against the decision, saying it believes they're on the side of public opinion. In a statement, Pritzker says, quote, "As doctors have said time and time again, masks are the best way to preserve in-person learning and keep children and staff safe."
A Rockford OSF Primary Care Center changes locations. The medical group's Roxbury Road office near St. Anthony Hospital will no longer see patients. Instead, doctors will work out of the new building on Villa Green View, about a 10-minute drive. That's near Spring Creek and Perryville. The change is effective February 28th. OSF administrators say the new, larger facility allows providers to better serve the community.
A state-line organization now has even more to offer local kids in need. The YMCA of Rock River Valley just launched a closet program. Molina Healthcare sponsors the project. The closet is located inside Lutheran Church of the Good Shepherd on North Rockton Avenue in Rockford. Students can pick up personal hygiene items, laundry detergent, and feminine hygiene products. Similar items will be available in a box outside the church for needy adults.
It's absolutely critical. Not everybody has some of these key elements to be able to grow up with, and you know, being able to give back, do good here for the community across the entire state is something that we're proud of doing here.
The Molina Closet is open weekdays. We'll have those hours of operation at mystateline.com.
Across town, another church has families covered when it comes to groceries. City First at Spring Creek and Mulford in Rockford hosted another food giveaway this morning. This is the 21st time volunteers have distributed food since the pandemic began. 8,000 pounds of dairy, meat, produce, and non-perishables went out. That will feed roughly 250 local families. Church leaders have no plans of slowing down donation efforts.
So this brings us so much joy. Like, we are having so much fun today by being able to meet people, say hi, and be a resource and meet a need today. And so, man, we walk away with joy, and it is honestly an honor to be able to partner and serve with our community.
City First has food distributions scheduled through the end of this year.
The putting greens might be covered in snow, but that isn't stopping Rockford golf enthusiasts from practicing their swings. Tonight's the Rockford Park District's Rockford Loves Golf event. Amateurs, professionals, and sports companies are all gathering at Mercy Health Sports Court 2. That's where you can learn more about summer golf programs, sign up for 2022 memberships, and buy discounted merchandise. The free event runs until 9 tonight. President Biden addressed the nation this afternoon on the developing situation in Ukraine. Today, Russia announced that it's withdrawing some of its military troops from the border.
DC's Anna Warnicki is in Washington, where lawmakers are working on a compromise to punish Russia's actions, as she keeps you connected to the nation's capital.
Good evening. There is some optimism following this announcement that Russia could be taking a step back. But President Biden says that information has not yet been verified and Russia still remains a threat.
An invasion remains distinctly possible.
President Biden's remarks come just hours after Russia's defense ministry announced it's pulling some troops back from the Ukrainian border. NATO's Secretary General says officials on the ground report no signs of de-escalation, but says withdrawing soldiers gives some reason for cautious optimism.
We will, of course, follow very closely what's happening on the ground and whether this is reflected in some real de-escalation.
Meanwhile, on Capitol Hill, lawmakers are scrambling to put together a bipartisan package to punish Russia with economic sanctions.
We need to show resolve as well as resilience, come together on a package that shows Putin that we are united across the aisle.
Both Democrats and Republicans say they want to sanction Russia, but can't agree on when to do it.
We are very committed to very heavy sanctions against Russia if they continue their aggression.
Democrats say they should wait until Russia takes military action, but Republicans say that's too late.
I believe that we're way too late now. I think we have to be in a position to make sure that Mr. Putin understands that should he invade, that there will be severe consequences.
President Biden says the U.S. is preparing for every scenario as the situation continues to develop abroad. He says the U.S. still remains open to diplomacy. For now, in Washington, I'm Anna Warnicki. Back to you.
Now, your first warned weather forecast from Chief Meteorologist Candace King.
Well, temperatures for us this afternoon a little warmer than where they were yesterday, but we've added in a lot more wind. We've been able to see some sunshine too. A live look with a Merseyrail Skytrack camera now out at the Park Hills Golf Course in Freeport. Cloud cover will thicken up here as we go throughout this evening overnight as our wind speeds also increase. Right now that wind direction coming in from the southwest or southeast, excuse me, but we've had some winds that have been gusting close to 30, even 35 miles per hour. That wind speed kind of picking up a little here as we go through this evening. That southerly wind, while it's kept definitely the chill out there, has actually allowed our temperatures to climb into the 30s. 37 in Rockford, 32 Belvedere, 36 now in Freeport, 37 in Janesville. Our weather watcher temperatures here for us this evening also in the mid and upper 30s from Bob in Rockford to Ben, I should say Ken, excuse me, in Belvedere, and Mike just north of Forston. No rainfall for us today. We will stay dry tonight, but we add in some of that rainfall as we go throughout the afternoon tomorrow. You can tell where that warm front sits just off to the west, and that warm front is actually going to pull through later tonight, so our temperatures will rise as a result as our wind speed does increase. Cloud cover also on the increase this ahead of our next system that'll impact us first with rain tomorrow. And then you get a little bit of a mix tomorrow night, and then the potential for some snow coming in on Thursday. Now, we do have a winter storm watch that was issued here this afternoon. This is south of Rockford. This includes DeKalb, Lee, and Whiteside counties. This goes into effect Wednesday evening and will last pretty much throughout the day on Thursday. This is for the combination of some minor ice accumulation along with some heavy and wet snowfall that could add up to a few inches here by the time this is all said and done. So let's put this together with Futurecast. Cloud cover for us tonight. Temperatures when you wake up tomorrow morning, those numbers are going to be climbing into the low 40s. So it is going to be a very mild start tomorrow. And I think with us starting off in the 40s, despite the cloud cover and the increase in rain, we will likely make it upper 40s, low 50s for that afternoon. Southwest winds, though, those are going to be rather gusty throughout much of the day. Little bit more drizzle there, or at least some fog, and you'll notice it as we go throughout the morning tomorrow, mid-late morning. And then as that cold front begins to approach from the northwest, the chance for rain increases. So mid-late morning, you'll see a couple of showers work in from the northwest. By the afternoon, we're starting to see more of that rain. Take note of our temperatures, though. Look at, we go from the 40s to the 30s off to the northwest as that colder air begins to work in. Could be a few pockets of some heavier rainfall that'll take us into tomorrow evening. And then as we get into tomorrow night, as that colder air begins to work in, we now start to see a little more of a transition over to a mix. And where we have the watch in place, that's where we could see maybe some very minor ice accumulations, a few hundredths of an inch of ice, maybe up to a tenth of an inch of ice along Interstate 88 and south. So that'll be something we have to keep an eye on late Wednesday into Thursday. Colder air comes in. You also get a little bit of a mixture with some snow for that. As we go through Thursday, right now, heaviest snow looks to fall to our south, but that chance for snow will kind of increase as we go throughout Thursday, late morning through the afternoon, before decreasing once we get into Thursday night. So this is kind of how it looks right now, with the storm track kind of working somewhere between southern and central Illinois right now. There's been a little bit of a jog to that to the north. You've got right along, maybe a little north-south of Interstate 88, that heavy snow and a minor ice threat where we kind of have some of those counties that are underneath that watch. We'll continue to watch to see if it tracks a little bit further up to the north, but just expect some impacts to that commute on Thursday. From 50 on Wednesday, 20s, guys, by the end of the week. I think we'll see at least briefly the 40s return next week.
Now sports with sports director Scott Leber.
The Ice Hogs ready for action at the BMO tonight. They will host the Iowa Wild. It's a game that was rescheduled from earlier in the season. And the Hogs are coming up on weekend sweep of the Chicago Wolves. 5 different Ice Hogs players combined to score 9 goals in those 2 games. Colin Delia earned the win in goal in both games. The Hogs and Wild are also neck and neck in the AHL Central Division. The Hogs are slightly ahead by percentage points. This will be the 8th time they've faced each other this season. 3 of their previous games went to overtime. Joe Burrow will not need knee surgery. The Bengals say he only has a sprain. came up hobbling in the Super Bowl Sunday after he was sacked 7 times. Burrow was sacked 70 times total this season. That's the 3rd most in NFL history. The Vikings have settled on a new coach. Rams offensive coordinator Kevin O'Donnell is their guy. An official announcement is expected to come later this week. O'Connell has been on coaching staffs for the Browns, 49ers, and Washington. He's only 36 years old. Jimmy Goodman has done it again. The head coach at the Patriots Boxing Club in Rockford has produced 2 more national champions. Gavin Bernal, a student at Jefferson High School, and Braulio Arcos Rodriguez, a student at Beloit Memorial, won their weight divisions at the Silver Gloves Championships near Kansas City last week. It's the 3rd Silver Gloves Championships for each boxer.
So I knew I had to get in there and throw punches, and I felt pretty confident. I know my skills, I know my strengths, everything, and I know I can beat them.
What makes you such a good fighter?
I'm willing to put in the work inside the ring and outside the ring.
When you were young and you started boxing, did you ever think you could achieve all this and have this success?
Honestly, no, I didn't. I didn't think I'd come this far, but I stuck with it, and now I'm 3-time national champion.
They got the drive, the determination, they got the athleticism, and man, the determination is what it is. They determine and they want to win.
Patriots Boxing Club has now had 5 different boxers over the years win national championships, and they've combined to win 9 titles. Patriots is a youth boxing factory. That's sports. We'll be right back.
Candace will have another look at weather in just a moment.
But first, Leland Vittert shows us what News Nation has planned.
Russian strongman Vladimir Putin says he's going to pull his troops back from a brink of invasion. Is this just another page out of the KGB playbook? Plus, the bizarre history of a man who tried to shoot and kill a mayoral candidate. That's On Balance. Here's Dan.
Thanks, Leland. Tonight on Dan Abrams Live on News Nation. Prince Andrew agrees to settle that sex abuse lawsuit. But why is he paying out the victim if he, quote, did nothing wrong? That's tonight on Dan Abrams Live.
That's all coming up on News Nation. It's the fastest growing cable news network in America. Watch it on the cable and satellite stations on your screen. You can also try newsnation.com.
Our first warning, interactive radar, brought to us by Rockford Auto Glass and More. Things are quiet. Cloud cover increases tonight. Winds will pick up tonight, too. You've got rain that moves in for tomorrow. Temperatures make it into the upper 40s, low 50s, so a mild day, just not one to get out and enjoy. By the late afternoon, could be some heavier rain showers. Those will push to the south. You get a little bit of a mix of some freezing rain, sleet Wednesday night. Those could cause some slick conditions early Thursday. Watching our snow potential there for Thursday afternoon. Little dip in the numbers by the weekend.
All right, thanks, Candace.
And thank you for spending some of your time with us. Stay safe.